maybe 2-for-1 Stablecoin Tuesday, where they double your money if you change into PYUSD.
That's so
Then I'll
DJ.
consider it. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for a special edition of the 10-minute eye test. This week, we're not looking necessarily into a coin we would invest in, but maybe a coin we would hold our treasury in or transact in. So without further ado, everybody say hello to my good friend Sasha and co-founder of Arcanum Ventures. And let's dive in. I think the biggest news of this week, and probably, maybe quite possibly, Sasha, the biggest launch of the year, PayPal just announced that it is launching its own USD stablecoin, which is pretty significant news.
Yeah, I mean, way more significant than WorldCoin, let's be honest. And I don't, if, what is it, the crypto Jeopardy, like in the beginning of the year, if you tell me like all of the major events happening this year, the biggest event being a stablecoin, I don't know if I would have guessed that, but it does make sense in retrospect, thinking about like, what does this mean for the industry? What does it mean for centralization, which I'm sure we're going to dive into here? And what does it mean for the everyday crypto user?
Yeah, absolutely. And then especially in the wake of last year's absolute collapse of UST. And, it is a little bit reassuring to see a real actual institution, a real world company with a stable coin. Because I feel like this, at least on the surface, is a little bit more trustworthy because it's backed, I believe, 1-to-1, by every dollar they have. And PayPal has a massive treasury of actual fiat money. So on the surface, it sounds pretty good.
Before we dive into the backing and PayPal, we should, in traditional fashion, start the clock, shall we?
Yeah. We can't skirt tradition.
Boom, here we go. All right.
Well, the first thing I notice is this is a real website from a real company. So actual hero text and copywriting and care and detail. And I don't know about you, but it kind of freaks me out. It's like really interesting to see like real, I hate the word Web 2 because it's not a thing, but real Web 2 companies talking about crypto. Like they're explaining crypto from their understanding to non-crypto native people that don't know these terms. They don't know what these words mean. So it always fascinates me, like what words they choose and how they spell it out and how simple they can make it, because simplicity is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at this hero text. There's no way to screw this up. I don't know who would read this and misunderstand that. PayPal stablecoin, designed for payments. Like, it's just so obvious what this is for, and it makes perfect sense. And this is a good lesson that a lot of founders can take. Look, 3 to 5 words. I'm not sure, dude, 70 to 80% of the websites we've seen on this series, like the hero text is like bringing AI to Web3 for optimization and blah, blah. And, I'm just thinking like, for example, an AI assistant company, it can be as simple as like your virtual assistant. Like that's as simple as it needs to be. And it gets the message across. So it's nice and refreshing for once to see like some good quality branding that makes sense. And it casts a wide net. It can target everybody. You don't have to be a genius to figure out what this does.
Yeah, and this is still a small subset of what PayPal will do. This is catering towards people like us, but there's no need for regular everyday people to use this if they're uncomfortable with it. One thing I noticed is that it says, if you scroll up, it says buy, sell, and transfer within the app. So first off, I have a question of, is this actually like a standalone stablecoin you can trade on a centralized or decentralized exchange, or is it kind of like mimicking a stablecoin and it's just going to exist in their app or custodial wallets?
That's a really good question. And I think this goes back to like the original purpose of this video, right? Which is like, obviously we wouldn't invest in a stablecoin. I don't think PayPal is accepting investments in a stablecoin. I don't know what that would even look like. But what we do want to consider is this an asset that you would consider holding? Because stablecoin, if you guys watch any of our crypto ABC videos, we did one on stablecoins. It's a great store of value. It's a great way to eliminate the volatility and hold your value in something that's going to be isolated or insulated from like market movements. And so, how centralized is that? How decentralized is it? How accessible is it? One thing I saw here is I think it was maybe down here somewhere, but I think it's on Ethereum. Oh, here we go. Send to an Ethereum wallet address that accepts PYUSD. So if you can send to an Ethereum wallet address, does that mean like a decentralized wallet like MetaMask? Does it mean that you can send this off chain? And if so, how are they
Looks like
monitoring
it.
that, controlling it, etc.?
Yeah, and actually, one gap I see already that kind of makes me laugh. I don't think non-crypto native people will understand this, but network fees may apply. Snuck in the end there. It's
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
hilarious. Imagine how big of a shock this is. Like, all right, I'll try the stablecoin thing out on PayPal. I trust PayPal. And you send it. It's like a $70 transaction fee.
Yeah, right. They're like, hey, you want decentralization? We're going to charge you for that. You want fries with that too? And so this is funny because if you see network fees may apply on
Yeah.
like a meme coin website or like a, like an ERC20 like crypto token startup website, you would be like, dude, what the hell is this? They're just trying to milk me for money. And so yeah, network fees, transaction fees on decentralized infrastructure, these are all associated with like meme coin, shitcoin projects. But I mean, I guess PayPal's taken advantage of the fact that they're probably going to have a massive user base for this from the start because they have a massive audience of customers. And like, that's a pretty good business model. If you want to go into the decentralized stuff, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, and I noticed that like they've carefully chosen the words they're using, like obviously simplified, and but like I know a huge subset of PayPal's user base is like e-com people, people that run online shops, and I know there's also a big overlap with Web3. There's a lot of e-com people that use crypto, and they want to accept payments in Bitcoin or Ethereum or mostly stable coins, I would imagine, because it's more stable. But I think that's kind of the audience they're going for. So maybe this isn't necessarily meant to stay in your wallet and be a store of value, but it is meant to facilitate payments for ecom people, which makes sense. Makes sense more than using external payment options.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, look, PayPal's a huge company. And I think what this does is it takes a large portion of crypto where there was a lot of concern around, like stablecoin, because it is sort of seen as the safe haven of crypto, and it brings it into the regulatory light. And maybe PayPal is doing this in part to help shape regulations around cryptocurrency use and stablecoin use. Because if you think about it, like these processes, as far as I know, like they don't exist in a very complete version of auditing and transparency and reserves backing, audits and things like this. And so I think they're going to be pioneering a lot of this and most likely positioning themselves pretty well to work with U.S. regulators. And so, what this kind of gives me CBDC vibes, really. People were kind of avoiding this conversation about like government mandated CBDCs because it just seemed like a shit show. But all of a sudden, you have a private company that's got a massive built-in audience and a customer base that ushers in a CBDC. That's much easier for a government to adopt, especially if they can get them to play ball.
Yeah, and I always wonder, like, would the US ever launch its own CBDC, or would it just take one of these trusted insiders that already plays ball, like, USDC by Circle? So far they've taken the lead. They have the pole position because they are the most compliant and they're the most willing to do whatever the government says. And I think they're doing that very deliberately because they understand that they have a lot to gain by becoming the quote unquote unofficial or official CBDC of the US, which is not just American. That's half the world uses US stablecoins. So that would be pretty huge. And then PayPal, like you said, built-in audience, so they have even more of a use case. They might even be more trusted because they've been around longer. They're more of a known entity. So it makes sense. It's a smart play, I think, for PayPal in every sense.
It makes total sense. I mean, these guys are knowing exactly what they're doing, and it wasn't a risk for them, in my opinion. You look at Coinbase, And Coinbase really had to stay compliant from a regulatory side as a publicly traded company. And as a result, what they could do is that they knew that because they were publicly traded, they had access and they were able to market to what you refer to as Web 2 users or non-crypto savvy users. And they built a lot of on-ramps to try and like facilitate bringing these people into crypto. At the same time, they know that these people are used to ridiculously long wait times for transactions across banks and steep transaction fees. And so what did they do? They just mimicked that business model and started making a killing on transaction fees. And PayPal knows this. Coinbase already tested the waters. And so PayPal has nothing to lose. Charging a 3% transaction fee on anything within their network out that exits the network for people that want to use decentralized infrastructure, that's brilliant. And then also up here, I think I saw wording that said free, no transaction fees between US customers. What does that really mean? That's a great euphemism for saying no transaction fees if you transfer anything within our app, because really we don't have to use decentralized infrastructure and we control all of it. So like, I think this is going to be a huge part of PayPal's balance sheet. I think they're going to make a ton of money, and I think it's going to bring in a lot of crypto adoption. But I don't think I would buy PayPal USD. I think there are better choices as far as like decentralization goes and control.
Yeah, and one interesting note, Revolut, I think they just stopped all crypto services in the US because they're afraid of regulation. So I think the timing on this is a little bit interesting too. Like they kind of swoop in there and take down one of their nemesis. My new favorite word.
Nemesises.
But and also, yeah, it's very interesting that they've chosen this time, and like you said, I think they're going to make a killing. It's a very smart fiscal decision, and it's very low risk. Your favorite alarm?
I think it is low risk, and that is the 10 minutes. It's up, and you know what? It's a shame because I really want to dive into a lot more and see what we got going on. Like for example, the reactions to what we're seeing here. But I think you and I can take a guess. Oh, here we go. That's a spicy take on it. Zhuang.
Where's the spicy take?
Very spicy take. Corruption and monopoly, of course. Yeah. So
I will say one of the things I did know going into this. I didn't explore a whole lot into it, and I'm obviously not a developer or coder, but I've been seeing a lot of my developer friends raising the red flags because this is coded in Solidity apparently and easy to read and audit, and there is clear freeze and reverse transactions coded into it. So that's what I kind of wanted to get to in the end of this video and talk about like how, I mean, it makes sense to remain compliant like we were talking about. I think USDC, the government has been pushing USDC to do the same, but PayPal's done it, and they can reverse transactions. And like some proponents of fiat and traditional financial systems, they might see that as a victory, because one of the things that scares people about crypto is the irreversible nature of it. It's immutable. You can't just change the ledger. Once it's sent, for better or for worse. And I know there's a lot of instances where I wish I could unsend a transaction, but that is one of the things we sign up for. And the fact that they're doing that scares me a little bit, and I think they're making a play to become the stablecoin of the U.S., maybe the unofficial CBDC, like we mentioned. So, yeah, what's your take on that?
What my take is. That's
a little scary, right?
Red flag. Yeah, and I talked about this, I think, in a tweet and a video a while back. I think, was it Brazil launching a CBDC, and then someone had uncovered in the code that they did have freeze and reverse transaction functionality there. And look, guys, I'm a pessimist, really. I seem like a positive person. It's a lie, but I'm very, very negative, and I really do believe that. I don't think the digital future is like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to a decentralized, fair digital future. And if you think about the government as a business, it has every incentive to maintain some semblance of control. And it makes perfect sense if PayPal is launching a stablecoin that's mandated and approved for use by the government and by regulators. Then they have to have some checks and balances, if I had to guess, government officials would call them, in place to make sure that things can be tracked, it can be audited, and it's transparent to the government, hopefully not everyone else, and at the same time things can be controlled. Because look, we're moving towards a digital future, and the benefit of a digital future means that there's data behind everything, and if there's data, there's monitoring and there's control. And so I don't think PayPal would ever have been able to launch this without those functions built into the smart contract. I think that's part of the program. Unfortunately, I don't think any CBDC would launch without those functionalities built in the smart contract. There's no incentive for a government to create a decentralized currency. A government operates better if they're able to control and produce these efficiencies in people and GDP and everything else. And so they have every incentive to make sure that they can control things if things get out of hand, or if there's a bad actor, if there's a protest, if they just don't like you, boom, your accounts are frozen. You can't buy anything. You're done. Start playing ball. So, yep, that doesn't surprise me. I hate it, but I expected it.
That was a very spicy yet based take, as the Generation Z people would say.
Was it based?
Based. So I guess then that sort of answers my question, but I want to end this broadcast with two questions. One, would you hold our Arcane Adventures treasury in PYUSD? I'm guessing it's a no, but I want to hear from your mouth.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah, obviously no, but I just thought, wouldn't it be hilarious if they launched an algorithmic stablecoin, like a Terra Luna model or something? That would be so much fun.
That's too degen for a Web 2 company, I think. I don't think they would ever even know how to approach that.
At the same time, I just saw an article that said Coinbase's layer 2 base is becoming a degenerate den for shit coins and meme coins. And I think it was like on a major publication. But yeah, I don't think I would hold a treasury or part of our treasury in this stable coin unless we have some incentive to do so. For example, like just for everyone out there, we do have a registered business. We are tax compliant. And so we make sure that everything we do is within the legal boundaries of the fiscal law. And so if we need to transfer funds easily and quickly at low cost to organizations or individuals in the US, I think this is a good idea. But I don't think I would hold anything in it. I think we have nothing to gain by holding stable or value in this stable coin, especially a new stable coin. Who knows if maybe PayPal is run by idiots and they put some an error in the code and they just get wiped. That would be insane.
That would be crazy. Yeah, I guess that kind of answers the question. I had a feeling you would answer like that, but you make a good point that it could still be a viable transaction medium, in the short term. Maybe you switch your coins into that real quickly, you send them, and then they switch them out. But yeah, I tend to agree that I wouldn't really trust this as something to hold. Maybe in a few years once we have a little bit more visibility. But knowing what I know about the code already, it seems like a hard no. And not like you said, we're tax compliant. We're playing within the rules, and we're not bad criminals or something. But still, we don't. I don't think it aligns with our ethics and what we want to see in crypto, what we want to see with decentralization. So I would prefer to use. I mean, they're all centralized in a way, like USDC, USDT, heavily centralized. But I still know them. I've used them longer. I'm not going to change at this point. And like you said, unless they give us an incentive to do so, maybe 2-for-1 Stablecoin Tuesday, where they double your money if you change into PYUSD.
That's so
then I'll consider it. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. But anyways,
BOGO Stablecoin, homie. Well, I just thought of something actually when you said that. I guess if I do feel strongly and adamantly against this, maybe I would do my best to try and find other options, because like I don't want to contribute to their revenue and their bottom line. If
Yeah.
it means like, we're working towards this dystopian future of digital control. But, if it's super convenient, maybe I'll make that compromise like many other people.
Yeah. So you have like PayPal outrage here, and then like WorldCoin outrage is a little bit higher still. That's the most outrage.
Yeah, we're still mostly outraged about WorldCoin. Like there's no doubt. WorldCoin.
Okay, I want to ask you one last question before we tie everything up. And before you do that, everybody, I'd like to remind you that please like this video if you've enjoyed it, or if you have any comments, any ideas for next week, please let us know. We're always curious to see those. And without further ado, do you think this is bullish for crypto in the long run? Is it good? Is it bad? Give me your take.
Ooh, I mean, I guess there's different ways of breaking that down. If you think about bullish in the sense of like the price of assets specifically, is that what you're talking about? Like if I hold Bitcoin, is this bullish for the price of Bitcoin?
Is it good for crypto mass adoption in general? Is it good to bring attention to our cause, to what we believe in? What do you think? Short term and long term, if you want.
It's good for adoption. I mean, we're talking about a major player stepping into this space and then embracing and creating a big part of this technology, stablecoins. And they're doing it, as far as I can tell, in a safe and secure way with a one-to-one collateralized backing. And that means that, most likely it's going to be around for a while. And there are so many people that have PayPal on their smartphone, or they transact with their business or on their laptop, and all of a sudden they have easy access to crypto. And let's say somebody approaches like, an Etsy store and says, hey, I love this necklace. Can you make it for me? But can you take crypto? It's like, yeah, actually, I just saw that in my app. Of course I can. Boom, done. And so that's going to bring in so many people. I mean, overnight, we probably just brought in like 100 million people into crypto from PayPal's customer base. And if you think about like the conversion of people that use PayPal and that will use the crypto feature of the app and then might get interested in what cryptocurrency is and then buy and invest other cryptocurrencies. Yeah, there's like really
double alarm.
What? there's really nothing bad here for crypto adoption. It's taking like, technology and infrastructure that was in the shadows for a lot of people and bring it into the limelight. Is it bullish for, the ethics and ethos that we follow for our company and what we love about cryptocurrency and decentralization? No, it's not. I think I answered that question already. It's going in like a very logical direction that I disagree with. But I guess our bags are going to be better.
That's what I was going to say. It's sort of like the BlackRock applying for an ETF. Like it's going to pump your bags, but it kind of goes against everything you believe in, at least me personally. And it just disappoints me to no end to see all these about phases from these traditional companies that talk so poorly about crypto for years. And now they've reversed course and they're all in and they want an ETF and they just want to make as much money as possible. So I guess PayPal is doing something similar. And I tend to agree. And one interesting thing, it's not just adoption for crypto. This is driving a lot of value to the Ethereum network itself, if it's truly on Ethereum. So that's going to be more TVL, more transactions, and more ETH burned since it's deflationary now. So also quite interesting to think about what this does just for that layer one alone.
Yeah, this is very true. If there's anything this industry taught me, and just being around, more finance-focused individuals and companies, it's that many people are shameless, and the PR and the messages that they release are purely from a business perspective. And if there's an opportunity to make money safely, with less risk, I think people will do it. And so we're seeing that. I think there's no surprise that large companies are getting into crypto. I think we saw that coming. And I don't think it made sense for a lot of them to pursue like decentralization or more equitable structures for their users or customers. It's just like however they can use this tech to make their business a little bit better instead of the tech being a product. So
yep.
Makes sense. We'll see what happens. Don't get hacked, PayPal.
Don't get hacked. Don't destroy everything.
You're gonna ruin the U.S. economy if you get hacked.
Backed 1-to-1 by its clients' dollars, I presume. So that would be catastrophic.
Well, actually,
but
I guess they could just reverse the transaction.
Reverse the heck. Uno reverse card.
Uno card. Oh man, PayPal. I'm gonna start calling that company Uno now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that sufficiently answered all of my questions and hopefully all of your questions. So thank you for tuning in. This has been Sasha and Carmelo from Arcanum Ventures, and we hope to see you next week. Let us know what you want us to cover, and we will take a look. Ciao.
Ciao.